All right, it is 6:30. We'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. Pledge allegiance, Dr. Mendenborough.
Please stand. Salute, pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Born and unborn.
Moving on to the roll call.
Julie Beechner-Taus.
Here.
Joe Marcano.
Here.
Mary Little.
Here.
Jose Gonzalez Jr. Lori Eskew.
Here.
James Robinson.
Here.
Lori Cisneros.
Here.
Thank you.
Is there a motion to adopt the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion, got a second. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Moving on to approval of the minutes from the last board meeting held on June 9th, 2026. Is there a motion?
Motion. Second.
Motion, second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Moving on to public comment.
First speaker will be Chief Bill Dickinson.
Good evening, Mr. President, members of the board. Chief Bill Dickinson with the Kern County Probation Department. As you all know, Superintendent of Schools staff run our educational programs inside of our facilities, and we cooperate Bridges Academy as well. This is your last board meeting before I retire as chief at the end of this month, and so I wanted to, felt really led and make it a point to come down here and tell this board how much I appreciate the partnership of the Kern County Superintendent of Schools under Superintendent Mendenborough's leadership, all of his administrators, all of the teachers, and all of the paraprofessionals and counselors who work inside of our facilities. It is a very difficult job for school staff. We have kids come in and out of our custody from a variety of backgrounds, obviously all with some level of criminally delinquent behavior, oftentimes undereducated, under-resourced, and with lots of trauma and drama in their backgrounds as well. And we ask the school staff to come alongside us and provide them an education while they're going to court, while they're dealing with these stressors, and while they have these other things that are not so pleasant in their life that they might be dealing with based on their actions. And so I just commend the school staff who work inside of our facilities. Thought this would be the best venue to do it since I can't go shake all their hands, and tell you how much I appreciate the partnership. And I wish you all, and some of you have been to graduations, wish you all could see the amount of work that goes into preparing for those graduations by school staff alongside my staff who work to try to make those celebrations very meaningful for the students and families who are attaining high school diplomas while in custody or maybe while having just left custody. They do a great job trying to make those as special as possible for the kids so that they have some level of achievement to hang on to and hopefully a brighter future when they leave. On top of just the basics education, Superintendent of Schools has been our #1 partner in introducing vocational training for youth. Well, I shouldn't say as you know, as I believe, not every youth's pathway is going to be post-secondary education or college. Some are going to go into vocational trades, and we need those people. And Superintendent of Schools staff knows that, acknowledges that, and pours a lot of resources into offering vocational opportunities for youth who might want to pursue that level of pathway. And then more recently, through DJJ realignment, when we've had the responsibility of having youth up to age 25 in our facilities, we had a great need to make a connection with post-secondary education to be provided to youth in our custody. And who made that happen for us? Superintendent of Schools staff did that. Really helped make that connection with BC, and they still come alongside and foster that. So our department has a challenge coin that the chief gets to hand out. And on the back of it, it says courage, and it's based on a quote by Winston Churchill. And it says, courage is what it takes to stand up and speak. and courage is what it takes to sit down and listen. And so I would like to present that to Superintendent Minaburo today for his leadership, of his staff, and basically for all of his staff. I wish I had 150 to give out, but I don't. But if it's okay, I would like to present that to you, Superintendent Minaburo. And
I think
really
you
thank
need to
for
go
your,
down to the podium,
for
Dr.
your,
Minaburo.
for your help and partnership. Really means a lot. So that's it. Thank you very much. I appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Mr. Hold on, Mr. President, may I make a comment?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. I just want to say thank you as well, because I've worked with you for many years now, and you've always been so wonderful to work with, and you helped us tremendously when we did the picnics and the luncheons for the children and the families. That was a huge success, in part thanks to your efforts. You do come alongside us, and you work with us really well. My heart's pretty sad to see you leave, but I know that you're going to carry on whatever you do, because I see your heart, I see your passion, what you do for children, and you've made a big difference in so many lives. I've seen that, and I just want to thank you. And whoever you put in your place better be as good as you.
Yeah. You're in great hands. You'll love her. Yeah.
Awesome.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much.
Greg West.
Good evening. My name is Greg West. I'm the CEO of Central Academy of Arts and Technology. I wanted to take a few moments to provide you with an update on Central Academy's facilities and where we stand as we prepare for this school year. I'm pleased to report that construction at our new facility located at 824 and 826 18th Street continues to move at an incredible pace. We've submitted our plans to the city. Demolition is complete, and we've already received approval from the building director to begin construction, which is pretty much almost already completed as well, with framing, drywall, electrical well on its way. This has been a significant investment to get us to this point, and we're excited for the progress that's been made. The level of collaboration from everyone involved has been exceptional. Our contractors, architects, engineers, and the city building department have all been working closely together with a shared sense of urgency. Everyone understands the importance of having this facility ready for students, and they're doing everything possible to keep this project moving forward. The current schedule, assuming the city's review process continues at its expedited pace, remains on track for construction to be complete and the facility ready for occupancy the week of July 27th. While there are still approvals that must occur, we are very encouraged by the progress and the partnerships that we've experienced through this process. I also want to provide an update regarding our facility plan overall. At this time, CAT is continuing to move forward with both the First Presbyterian Church space and the 824-826 18th Street facility. Maintaining both options allows us to remain flexible while we continue to see an increase in enrollment and wait list. As things currently stand, if we utilize First Presbyterian campus, it would be in a very limited capacity, primarily for the use of the gymnasium. We have submitted our updated plan to KCSOS Legal, showing our ability to house all students in our existing facility in 824-826 during the 26-27 school year. Overall, we're exactly where we hope to be at this point in the process. Construction is progressing exceptionally well, and we are committed to working collaboratively with the city to ensure a successful opening of the school. We expect to have additional information to share next week, and we look forward to continuing to share updates with the board and staff as these progress. Thank you.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Brady Hutchins.
Good evening, members of the board. My name is Brady Hutchins. I've been employed by CAT, working in partnership with them to assist in opening the 18th Street facility. I wanted to take the opportunity to give you an update on the amount of work that's taken place over the last 30 days since obtaining the conditional approval to be able to expand to that We've completed asbestos testing, lead testing, we've completed environmental studies. We've onboarded a design team that's registered in the state of California to complete architectural drawings to submit to the city for approval, mechanical, electrical, plumbing, ADA assessments, life safety assessments that will be reviewed by this city, and a part of the process to complete the change of use from its existing designation of office to education. Those plans were submitted approximately 1 week ago, and they continue to go through that process. And like Greg mentioned, the city is on board and has walked the space with us on multiple occasions and has continued to inspect the work that has taken place over the last week. We've also brought on a contractor. We've gone through the pricing exercises and received board approval from CAT's board to be able to contract with that contractor. And currently they have a schedule that indicates that we would be able to meet the milestone of July 27th, receive the certificate of occupancy or temporary certificate of occupancy from the city.
Great.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Wonderful news.
Joanna Kendrick.
Good evening, everybody. So nice to be here tonight with you. My name is Joanna Kendrick. I'm the superintendent of Central Academy of Arts and Technology. Just want to start with a ton of gratitude for allowing us to operate this public charter school. We love what we do, and it's only possible with your support. Tonight, I do have one clear and simple request of the board. We are respectfully asking the board to direct county staff to allow our team just a little more time to meet a deadline. We're asking for an extension to July 31st to submit our final documentation, rather than allowing county staff to submit a letter of revocation of the material revision if we miss a July 27th deadline. We really appreciate county staff's efforts to establish these deadlines and keep the project moving forward, but I do want to remind you that there's no legal requirement that the school obtain a certificate of occupancy 5 days before the first day of school. That date's an administrative condition that county staff added when they asked you to conditionally approve the material revision. We're respectfully asking the board to modify that condition so that it reflects what we believe is your intent when you approve the conditional material revision. We think that intent was that CAT satisfy every required building, fire, safety, ADA, and occupancy requirement before students enter campus on August 3rd. We're not trying to lower any standards or avoid accountability. We're just asking for a little more flexibility. You heard from Greg and Brady tonight that the project is on track. These two gentlemen are working around the clock to make sure this job is done and done right. We're also working hand in hand with Sitting Building Director Michael Doyle. Tonight we provided you with a letter of assurance from him confirming that this project remains on track and that he is anticipating issuing a certificate of occupancy before the 27th of July. I believe Greg, Brady, and Mr. Doyle that this project will be done on time and that they'll meet the July 27th deadline. But I have to ask the board for a contingency. What if they need just 1 day beyond the 27th and we're then issued a revocation of that material revision? That would not be fair to our students and our families. This was our concern when the conditional approval was granted, and it would create some confusion and some additional hoops for us. Again, this is not about being in compliance. This is just about time. We need every single day we can get. We are on track, but we don't want to let an administrative deadline of the 27th derail the start of school. Thank you so much for your time tonight.
Thank you.
Dennis McLean.
Good evening, Superintendent, President, board members, and staff. Thank you for allowing me to speak. I will be brief tonight in thanking all of you for the professional job your board has done. The public is proud and thankful for what policies and decisions you have made in support of the children and parents in our community. Thank you again, and God bless you all.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dennis.
Paul Linvesti.
Yes, I just wanted to say I'm looking forward.
You can pick it up, Paul.
Oh, okay, thank you. I'm looking forward to the presentation tonight by a community member about short historical lessons that can be presented in classrooms. I was not that impressed with PragerU's presentation this past January. They seemed to use a bait and switch technique because in the actual agenda, it listed that it was just a book fair and a box type of extracurriculum that students could read at their own leisure. But the presenters didn't even bring book fair and a box up until a trustee asked them about the actual thing, and that was basically just a pilot program at this point. That kind of deception I felt that PragerU was using should make that program a major no. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Sandra Fry.
Good evening. I'm speaking tonight in wholehearted support of the enlightened proposal to introduce the 250 to 250 history video series to our Kern County classrooms. Earlier this year, the board expressed enthusiasm encouraging teachers to open their classes with a short daily historical moment, and this 250 to 250 video series by Heather Cox Richardson is an excellent solution to that idea. For those unfamiliar with Heather Cox Richardson, she's a highly respected professor of history currently at Boston College. She's well known for her daily letters and books on American history and is widely recognized for her ability to make history accessible to a broad audience. Bicentennial Minutes was a series of short 1-minute educational TV segments that aired on CBS from July of 74 to December 76. We talked about that last month, and that was to commemorate the 200th anniversary of the American Revolution. To honor the 250th anniversary, Cox Richardson has launched a series of 1-minute videos that highlights pivotal moments that have shaped our American history. Each video falls into a category that defines what it means to be an American, including community, innovation, civil rights, education, conservation, and creativity. And lately, some of my favorite videos, because I watch them daily, are emphasizing creativity, specifically how music has helped shape us. From the origins of the banjo, which had a profound effect on jazz and Appalachian culture, to 1814, when Francis Scott Key penned partial lyrics for the Star-Spangled Banner, to 1969 Woodstock, when Jimi Hendrix introduced his now famous electric guitar rendition of that same song, to Muscle Shoals, Alabama, where hundreds of records beginning in the 1960s were produced by many different artists, including Lynyrd Skynyrd, Aretha Franklin, Rod Stewart, Bob Seger, Paul Simon, and the Rolling Stones, just to name a few. A lot of that I didn't know till I listened to those videos. So, and just as the Bicentennial Minutes impacted an earlier generation, my generation, with its 1-minute historical tidbits, the 250 to 250 series offers our Kern County students bite-sized, digestible history and the opportunity for our students to engage in civics. This beautifully patriotic project is a marvelous resource for our Kern teachers to celebrate in our classrooms what we love about America, and helps us stay proud about what our country really stands for and what makes us great. These videos include powerful reminders of the ideals we strive for and lessons on how both famous and ordinary Americans have accomplished change. I ask the board to formally approve We Are America 250 to 250 series as an optional supplemental resource for current teachers to use in their classrooms. Thank you.
Thank you. Mona Two Cats Romero.
Good evening. My name is Mona Two Cats Romero. I am a native and lifelong resident of Kern County. I was born at what was then Westside Hospital in Taft after my parents came here from Oklahoma in the 1940s. My birth certificate says behind the water station. That was the address. I started kindergarten at Elk Hills School I got my AA at Bakersfield College and my BA at CSUB. I worked here in Kern County for over 20 years in anti-poverty programs and social justice advocacy. I have 3 children who attended Maple School in Rio Bravo, Greeley. My children graduated from Shafter High and Liberty. I have 9 grandchildren and 5 great-grandchildren who have all spent all or part of their educational career here in Kern County Public Schools. I am a dedicated every election voter. I'm always excited to find out if there's another election I can vote in.
Thank you for voting.
I'm here today to support Ellen Schaffhauser's presentation and proposal, and I hope that the board will authorize and incorporate the 250 to 250 materials as supplemental and optional for the Kern County Schools curriculums. And I would also like to request, if the board is unwilling to adopt these materials, that you please provide a written report on why you don't want to, what your reasons are. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Janine Adams.
Wow, that's a hard act to follow. Janine Adams, Tehachapi. I've been in Kern County since 1994. We moved here when my son was, 90 days old. And so both of my kids are graduates from, elementary, junior high, high school. Not in Tehachapi, but here in Greater Bakersfield, Stockdale. Go Mustangs. And I think that this program that Ellen's going to present to you is just going to be so important. I've seen the initial drafts. And my son, who now is a 4th grade teacher, McKinley, okay, just around the corner, basically. He's a 4th grade teacher, and currently he does like 10 minutes of CNN every morning. What a nice thing to be able to do because of the technology that is in our classrooms. And it would be easily, translated into this program that's only a minute, I guess, is what she said. So, again, I just think that this is so important. I graduated high school in Palm Springs, of all places, in 1976, the 200-year, And here I am 50 years later, and it's 250 that the country is. Can you imagine my high school just like I'm sure is going on around here now, right? So proud that I was part of those years and that I'm still here, okay? So thank you so much for what you do. This is a very difficult board to sit on, and it means so much to the children, to the community. I mean, you guys run everything, as we just had the first presentation, what kind of impact that makes on our community, on children that are, having trouble, okay? But these children are not children with a problem. They are children that just need advocacy, and a lot of them will get through it, okay? My dad had the same thing. He joined the Marines at age 17. He did not finish high school, and he was first boots on the ground in what do we call it? The North Korean conflict. It wasn't actually a war. It was a conflict. It didn't matter to him. He was boots on the ground there, okay? So I am the proud daughter of a Marine. He always said education is the most important thing, and that's what I've taught my children. So thank you so much for what you do.
Thank you.
Thank you. Lori Brashler.
Good evening. Good evening, members of the board. My name is Lori Brashler. I'm here today to urge you to consider approving the use of history lessons developed by historian Heather Cox Richardson in our classroom. Her work is widely respected for its accuracy, clarity, and ability to connect past events to the present in a way that engages students and encourages critical thinking. In a time when our young people are navigating a flood of information, it's essential that we provide them with resources grounded in factual research and historical context. Dr. Richardson's lessons are not only academically rigorous, but also accessible, helping students see the relevance of history to their own lives and community. By incorporating these materials, we can strengthen civic literacy, foster respectful dialogue, and prepare our students to be informed, thoughtful citizens. I respectfully ask that you approve their use as part of our history for the supplemental curriculum. Thank you for your time and commitment to our students' education.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anastasia Hopper.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Anastasia Hopper, and I am a community member with 2 children out in Oildale, and I am deeply caring about the quality of education that our children receive. I'm here tonight to speak in support of the proposal to adopt Dr. Heather Cox Richardson's 250 to 250 We Are America video series as approved supplemental instructional material. Dr. Richardson is a professor of history at Boston College and one of the most widely read historians in America today. What makes this series exceptional and exceptionally appropriate for our students is its focus. The videos emphasize the agency of Americans, mostly everyday Americans, to change the country, covering categories that define what it means to be an American, including community and democracy. These are not passive history lessons. They are stories of how people overcame adversity, which is the heart of America. The message speaks directly to our alternative education programs at Blanton and the Community Learning Center. It speaks to the Hispanic families in Bakersfield City School District, whose ancestors are part of that American history. It speaks to every student who has ever been told that their history does not matter, because it does. It embodies the RISE goal of helping our youth become responsible citizens who use the knowledge gained and skills learned to make informed decisions and choices. The videos are 1 minute. They are freely available on YouTube and Substack. There is no cost to the district, and they're academically credible. They're age appropriate, and they're deeply relevant to the moment our country is living through right now in its 250th year. I urge the board to approve this proposal and make these materials available to teachers across Kern County. This is a supplemental free resource. Our students deserve history education that tells the whole story of America, including the parts that show ordinary people, people who look like them, changing the world. I ask the board to formally approve We Are America 250 to 250 as optional supplemental resource for teachers to use in their classrooms. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No additional comments.
Okay. Moving on to the informational items, 3.1, update regarding the CAT charter material revision.
We have Kimberly Graham coming up to give an update from our last board meeting in regards to the CAT material revisions and the next steps.
Good evening, members of the board. My name is Kimberly Graham, Assistant Superintendent of Local, Regional, and Statewide Systems of Support. Tonight I will be sharing with you an update on the material revision request submitted by Central Academy of Arts and Technology, referred to as CAT. This slide is a summary of the requested material revision. On May 8th, 2026, CAT submitted a material revision request pursuant to Education Code Section 47605A4, seeking approval to revise its charter to add additional instructional facilities. Specifically, CAT requested 4 actions. First, the addition of site number 3, located at the First Presbyterian Church, consisting of the second floor of the Children's Ministry Center building, which includes 4 classrooms and 1 primary bathroom. Second, the addition of site number 4, located at 824 and 826 18th Street. Third, an amendment to Exhibit 4 of the charter petition, which is the school's facilities plan. And fourth, approval of updates to the proposed facilities and to the charter petition language to incorporate changes in law. The stated purpose of the revision is to provide the additional instructional space necessary to support the school's educational program and its projected enrollment, including the addition of 10th grade, which was approved in the school's original petition. Last month, the board conditionally approved the material revision with the following requirements. The charter school shall provide a status update regarding all outstanding conditions no later than July 10th. Final documentation demonstrating satisfaction of all conditions shall be submitted to KCSOS no later than 5 business days prior to the first day of student instruction at either facility. The first day of school for CAT is August 3rd, so all documentation must be submitted by July 27th. If these conditions are not satisfied, it will result in a termination of the approval of the material revision for both sites. The conditions are therefore not advisory. They are prerequisite to the school's lawful occupancy and operation of these facilities. This approval supports the charter's proposed expansion while also ensuring that adequate safeguards are in place to protect students and maintain compliance with applicable laws and also regulations. This slide shows an update on the outstanding conditions for starting with site number 3, which is First Presbyterian Church. A check mark means that the requirement has been met. Items not checked have not yet been met. The red text provides additional information that we have received and or clarification that we have requested from CAT. The following items have been met, again for site number 3. Verification of supervision procedures for shared use areas. Background clearances for all non-school personnel. The following items have not yet been met. Confirmation from the City of Bakersfield approving educational occupancy use of facilities. Restroom availability and code compliance. We have requested clarification on why the lease agreement does not match the actual facilities available for the school. And the lease extension beyond December 31st. So we have asked for clarification for that, but I do have an update for you, as Mr. West also stated earlier this evening. So an update again on site number 3, KCSOS staff received new information today, July 14th at 3:06 p.m., stating that CAT will not be utilizing site number 3 for grades 9 through 10. If utilized, site 3 will be used only for gym space in a limited capacity. So all students will be located at site number 1 and number 2, which is their current site located at 1701 and 1723 18th Street. They are anticipating approximately 460 students at that site for grades 3 through 10. And site number 4, which is 824 and 826 18th Street, they are anticipating approximately 230 students in grades TK through 2. CAT has advised KCSOS that their proposed student and site breakdown may change depending on the work and city approvals for site number 4. So with that, for site number 3, next steps would be for CAT to submit outstanding items. And also KCSOS will provide formal written notification to the charter based on this new information, confirming and also documenting that the facility will not be used for grades 9 through 10. And if the charter seeks to operate at the facility in the future, the charter school must notify the authorizer and may be required to amend the petition through a material revision. Moving on to site number 4, these are the outstanding conditions. This is 824 and 826 18th Street. Again, a check mark means that the requirement has been met, and then items not checked have not yet been met. So items that have been met, CAT has confirmed that they will be using private funding. Therefore, the TK and playground requirements have been met, as those were required components if they were using state funding. The outstanding items include confirmation from the City of Bakersfield Building Division approving educational occupancy of facilities. Once the e-occupancy is issued, the following 3 sub-bullets will be met. So that will be compliance with the building code requirements, Title 19.
Kimberly, can you repeat that so I can get that, please?
Sure. So if they receive the e-occupancy, the sub-bullets that you see listed below will all be fulfilled. So that would include compliance with California Building Code requirements, Title 19, life safety requirements, and ADA accessibility requirements.
Thank you.
And the last outstanding item for site number 4 is confirmation from the City of Bakersfield Planning Division authorizing a conditional use permit. I also have some updated information on site number 4. KCSOS staff received new information today, July 14th at 5:25 p.m. Again, Mr. West stated that in his public comments. CAT received a letter from the City of Bakersfield Building Division confirming that if all pending items are addressed by the charter, they expect a certificate of occupancy or a temporary certificate of occupancy issued by July 27th, 2026, approving the educational occupancy of facilities. As mentioned on a previous slide, but I'm going to repeat it as this is new information as of today, all students will be located at Site 1 and 2. Again, that is the site on 18th Street and also site number 4, which is 824 and 826 18th Street. Also, CAT has advised KCSOS that their proposed student and site breakdown may change depending on the work and the city approvals for site number 4. With that new information, the next steps for site number 4 would be for CAT to submit outstanding items for this site. Okay, material revision next steps. This is going to show the next steps for both compliance and non-compliance with all pending items. So I will start with the left-hand box. If all requirements for the material revision are satisfied by July 27th, CAT would now operate at TK through 10 at 3 locations and may use site number 3 for gym space. Again, that was updated as of this afternoon. KCSOS would provide formal written notification regarding site number 3. Again, new information as of today. And then KCSOS will send a letter on July 27th acknowledging full satisfaction of the material revision requirements. Moving over to the right side of the slide, if all requirements are not satisfied for the material revision by July 27th, 2026, the approval of the material revision for both sites will be terminated. KCSOS will send a letter on July 27th informing CAT of the termination. CAT may not house students at the proposed facilities on August 3rd. However, CAT would have the opportunity to submit a complete material revision to KCSOS and the board for both sites at least 5 business days prior to the board meeting for approval at the August 11th board meeting. And that concludes my update. So are there any questions that you might have for me?
That last bullet point that you were just talking about, can you expand on that?
Sure. So if they do not have a full material revision, all of the documents submitted, we will still receive them, but we would need 5 days in order to review them and then would be able to give approval. We could give a conditional approval after we receive them after 5 days and then bring it to the next board meeting for your review.
So are you saying they can't operate until that happens, or?
According to the board from last month's meeting, the conditional approval includes a full material revision of all documents submitted.
Yeah, specifically, would they not be able to operate at their school until they get that?
Correct.
So all those students that are enrolled would not be able to go to school?
Correct. And just a reminder, the material revision requests are all safety provisions.
And is there any law that says that we have to have the July 27th, and where did that date come from?
So July 27th was approved by the board last month.
Okay.
That gives KCSOS staff 5 business days to review and communicate with CAT to be able to open on August 3rd.
With regards to those safety provisions, is this from the municipality? Are they the ones that they're waiting on to receive answers from? Or is this
from the building code and
probably building and occupancy codes, yes.
Yeah, so that's a part of our KCSOS procedures for material revision.
Okay, well, what I'm asking right now, is this held up at the municipal level, or is this just non-compliance with requirements?
Well, it sounds like from the public comment that was provided by CAT staff that things are moving rapidly and they're getting all of their documentation in place.
So there's no way we could make an allowance for a couple days if they don't meet the July 27th deadline?
So the July 27th deadline, Mrs. Kendrick suggested a July 31st deadline. That would be a Friday. That would be over a weekend, and then school starts on August 3rd. So again, not giving us enough time for the staff to be able to review.
And specifically, if their permits were done, wouldn't that be compliance if their permits are approved?
Correct.
So I'm a little bit confused on that then. If their permits are approved, even after that date, wouldn't that satisfy what we're talking about?
So I want to make sure I understand your question. So if they are approved, it would meet the requirements of the material revision?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. And it was, so what would be the time factor in, if the city and all the requirements are approved and the permits are obtained, the time factor, what do we have to do in those 5 days?
So it's quite a bit of documentation to review. So from our end, we want to make sure that we have read through and that all of those provisions are met.
And what are we reading? I mean, it sounds like we have read through everything pretty thoroughly already.
That would be new documents that we would need to review. And according to the building department, it sounds like they will have those documents to us by July 27th.
Could a contingency be put forth that they provide you with all of those documents that are no longer being questioned? I mean, I saw that you had
along the way. Yes, that's what we're doing right now.
I realize that's what you're doing along the way. It's just that 4 days, that 4 day. I mean, what could you accomplish? What could you not accomplish in 3 days that you would have to have 5 days for in the review process? And I'm not saying anything. I'm trying to understand.
So from our staff's perspective, we
Yes.
want the time to be able to accurately review. We want to make sure that everything is covered within those documents for the safety of students. I would also just, I have a slide here just as a reminder. We started the correspondence on the material revision for the facility starting January 8th. We received the request from CAT in May to start this process.
If I heard the comments correctly from the CAT representatives, they're on schedule, right? So
I heard the same.
there's a lot of worrying about them not being on schedule, but they're going to be on schedule as far as we're told. So I think we leave it as is. And if for some reason they're not on schedule, then we deal with it at that point.
Yeah, I kind of get the impression, though, that they're looking at the 4 day, the 3 days versus 5 days is kind of a sort of Damocles hanging over, you know?
And just to clarify, it's business days.
So she was saying the 31st is on a Friday.
Correct.
The 3rd is on a Monday. So I think that's where, and I think this is coming up tonight because our next board meeting will be after the opening date. So.
I mean, is this not our decision if we wanted to revise it for a different date?
So for tonight, this is an informational item, so it's not an action item.
Yeah, I understand that we would have to have a different board meeting.
And there's no way, even if you had additional personnel resources available, that you could get all of the pertinent review done within 3 days.
Our staff, as you can see, we were receiving information as of 5 p.m. tonight. So we are as quickly as possible. Our intent is we want the students of CAT to be able to be in attendance at their new facility on August 3rd. So
Absolutely, I
yeah,
understand.
so we are doing everything that we can to make that happen.
And I appreciate it.
Okay, any other questions?
I do have a question about, can we go back a couple of slides to the changes in the site, and maybe Kat can clarify? If we're no longer putting students at Site 3 other than for gym use, right? Is that correct? Yes. Where are those students going? Are they going to the 1700 sites? They're staying there and not moving to Site 3? I'd see a head nod back there, so I'm assuming yes.
I am not sure, so
Okay.
the information was vague, but I wanted to be able to provide you with that updated information today.
Okay. All right. And if we're not able to open these other sites on the 3rd, is there not also that possibility of those students that would be in Site 4 starting school days, but they're starting at the 1700 block site?
Occupancy classification.
If we're talking about the First Pres site, as long as they meet those requirements, students can be there, yes.
Okay. For the site that they occupy now.
So that's going to come down
Of
to how many
occupancy.
students are enrolled versus the size of the facility, and I don't have that offhand.
Okay. And when, you're going to have to take me back, but when CAT opened, I believe we had an extended start.
Correct.
At that time. We did not start on time.
Correct.
So it's not impossible to not start on time. I mean, obviously, I heard from 3 people that the documents are coming, we are on target. Sounds like the 27th it's going to happen, which is, I'm very much hopeful, and I want to see them start on time. But we have been in this before where we haven't started on time. So there is some things that we can still maneuver with. So,
Yes.
okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
And my understanding is that CAT is requesting that we direct KCSOS to extend to July 31st. Is that something that we can do to direct the staff? Or is there a way around that? I'm not really clear on
Legally,
what.
we can.
The approval of the 27th was from the board, not from KCSOS.
That's right, we would have to change it.
Yeah, and
within
it would
the
have to
board
be
meeting.
agendized, so we'd have to have a special board meeting to change. This was an information item you had asked to have, not you personally, the board had asked to have an update at this meeting.
Yes.
Where they were at the last meeting. They made it pretty clear that they were going to be able to meet the July 10th deadline. Now we know we're at the arms and the hands of the city
Right.
to give the documentation. It sounds like they're going to be doing that on the 27th. During now and the 27th, if they are turning in all their other additional stuff and we can get all that checked off, then hopefully on the 27th, when that comes in, it'll be easy to review that component and not everything. at the same time.
Okay, thank you. And I understand Kat's concern because that's a hard date. That's a hard date. And is there anything we can do tonight for them?
No, we would have to have a special board meeting in order to change it. We were going under the assumption, based on what they were saying, that July 10th would be an easy meet.
Okay.
But we know, again, like I said, so we gave 5 days so that we can look at all documentation, because there's a lot they had to submit at this time. This is no different than any regular school where DSA would need to come in and sign off on a facility before it's to start a school. And many times, not many, but there are times where the school cannot start at that location or those classrooms. They would have to stay in their current portable buildings or the other school site until DSA signs them off. And I believe that was what was asked, if that would happen. So there needs to be a contingency plan. Hopefully we don't have to use a contingency plan. We're doing everything we can to get all these documentation. As they turn them in, they are going through and getting everything checked off. As you saw in the slides, there are portions that have already been submitted, we've reviewed, and we've been able to check those off. So as they could continue between now and July 27th to turn in all those documentations that are still outstanding, we can get those checked off. And then hopefully, as the city sent a letter stating that they do not anticipate anything beyond the 27th for that letter. If that happens, then as President Marcano mentioned, we can figure out exactly what is it we're still waiting for. Maybe it's just a delivery to the next day, or I think that's what Ms. Kendrick was, Dr. Kendrick was trying to say, is there might be something there where we might have confirmation on the 27th that you are getting your permits tomorrow, not today. Then we have to figure out from there. But it's not a drop. It's just if we don't get, or the city does not cooperate with CAT and give them the documentation, that's where it's harder for us to evaluate. We're hoping based on it, and this letter was very nice to receive from CAT, stating that July 27th should be acceptable for them to get to us. But we could take everything as long as CAT is continuing, and we've been having great communication between both teams to get everything that we can turned in, so we could get those things checked off instead of getting everything turned in on the 27th, or telling you we have nothing and they have everything but just that certificate of occupancy.
Dr. Mendenborough, would you be willing to give us a update as we go along?
Sure.
Up to the 27th,
Yep.
so we can make a decision of what.
Yes, as Kimberly's team receives the documentation and we sign off, we can notify, I can notify each of you where we are based on these next steps, what still is needed, and I can update you to say we are now at this point, we've got this checked off, we have this checked off, all we're still waiting for is X, Y, and Z.
Okay, I appreciate
We'll make it as best as we can without having, we just don't want to put them or you in harm's way with the certificate of occupancy. I think based on this letter and based on what they just said, we should be able to get it. I understand Dr. Kendrick's concern. I was like that too as a district superintendent. I would panic when DSA wasn't giving me what I needed until midnight, 11:59. I'd receive the email. So we'll work with them and even with the city if needed to get this expedited.
Sounds great.
Do they, there's a prescribed number of days, as with any educational facility in California, that the charter school has to have attendance in order to meet the requirements of that charter. Is that correct?
Could you
I mean,
repeat
like,
that
for example, I
question?
think public schools like 185 days. I would imagine probably something similar to that.
Instructional days.
Instructional days.
Correct.
Just in case we should be looking at a couple days delay. I wonder if there is any way that possibly CAT might be able to go ahead and delay by a couple of days and make up those days. Perhaps if there were not a fog day or something like that, or if they agreed to not take a specific holiday. I mean, I don't know if that's something that they could actually do and still meet the requirements of the charter.
Every charter and district can look at their days, but if it gets to the 11th hour and we're waiting for something, and we can do some alternative work with CAT to occupy those students or get the school started we're waiting for a day or two, we can always do that too. But I think as we get closer to the 27th, we will continue to work with them for even some contingency plans so they don't have to do what they did a few years ago and have to delay school by a whole week. But we can figure out some ways of doing it.
It's in the hands of God and the city, Dr. Kendrick.
you.
Okay, moving on. Item 3.2, presentation, historian of American history, Ellen Schaffhauser.
Thank you. And everybody can hear me?
Yes.
All right, great. Got to get my glasses on here. And the clicker. 250 to 250. It's created by Heather Cox Richardson. We Are America. It's a growing series of one-minute stories about the many people, places, and events that have built our country and remind us of the power of each person to make history. I'm proposing that this series be an educational solution to the board's suggestion for teachers to begin class each day with a one-minute American history lesson in celebration of 250th birthday of our nation. Now, you may remember this photo from 1976, Bicentennial and CBS. Similar in intent to this broadcast 50 years ago, 250 to 250 is creating a historical library of videos that are easily accessible on YouTube. They're short, engaging narratives. Students will hear narrations from educators, engineers, artists, politicians, lawyers, astronauts, and U.S. citizens from all walks of life. And best of all, they're free. 250 to 250 emphasizes the agency of Americans, mostly everyday Americans, to change the country. Each fall into a category that defines what it means to be an American, including community, democracy, innovation, mobility, civil rights, education, conservation, and creativity. The following 6 demonstration videos connect between past and present by using modern voices whose work and values resonate with the historical figure or event being discussed. Professor Heather Cox Richardson narrates the first video.
On May 25th, 1787, delegates gathered in Philadelphia to rewrite the Articles of Confederation, the blueprint that had united the colonies in 1777, but it proved too weak to hold the new nation together after the Revolutionary War ended. For 4 months, 55 delegates hammered out the framework for a new government. They created a system of checks and balances designed to enable the government to represent the people of the nation and yet protect against the rise of a tyrant. On September 17, 1787, the delegates signed the United States Constitution and sent it off to the states for ratification. On the last day of the convention, a woman asked Benjamin Franklin if the delegates had created a monarchy or a republic. A republic, he answered, if you can keep it.
These are the credentials of Professor Heather Cox Richardson, who is a scholar of American history. She's a tenured Boston College professor, written 6 books, has millions of global readers of her nightly Letters from an American, and interviews present-day historical figures and so much more. One of the key qualities of a great historian, such as Professor Richardson, is that they are talented in telling the story with the intent to convey accuracy rather than bias, using primary source accounts, sleuthing out bias and disinformation, and providing historical content. The second example is of John Adams' letter to Abigail, narrated by Dr. Sarah DeJourney, who is the editor for Papers of John Adams.
On July 3rd, 1776, John Adams, a Massachusetts delegate to the Second Continental Congress, wrote twice to his wife Abigail. He reported, "Yesterday the greatest question was decided. A resolution was passed that these united colonies are and of right ought to be free and independent states." Not until the next day, though, July 4th, 1776, did Congress approve the final wording of the Declaration of Independence. Adams knew he was participating in something Americans would long remember. The second day of July 1776, he predicted, will be celebrated by succeeding generations. It ought to be solemnized with pomp and parade. John Adams was right about everything except the date. We celebrate the 4th of July, not the 2nd, as our Independence Day.
A suggested timeline can be created in class of each video demonstrating the connectivity of American history events. Students create memes that can be inserted into the timeline. Memes are short format communication. They are a psychological mechanism for instant transfer of information. Educators can teach the art of responsible meme use. A meme can be highly influential in transferring information or disinformation through a network of people. It's analogous to a virus. Memes are self-replicating when shared in the network of social media. So teaching meme use requires being responsible that the information being transferred is valid and accurate. Otherwise, it spreads disinformation, which can be used as propaganda. Timeline insertion of a meme provides context and perspective, and students place their graphic or digital memes into a U.S. timeline alongside the anchor videos, as an example. History answers our origin story as a people of a place or a nation, and answering age-old questions of where we as a people came from and what our story tells us about who we are. The fourth video, one of the origin stories, is about Ellis Island, narrated by Ken Burns, documentarian movie maker.
In the late 19th century, immigrants coming to America from Europe usually traveled through New York, sailing past the Statue of Liberty before their ship dropped anchor. Then, third-class passengers boarded a ferry for the immigration entry station on Ellis Island, where from 1892 to 1954, more than 12 million people began the process of becoming Americans. Upon arrival, immigrants underwent medical and legal inspections. Some were processed quickly. Those with obvious illnesses went to the hospital or a dormitory, while those who could not demonstrate an ability to support themselves faced deportation. About 2% were ultimately turned away. Today, Ellis Island stands as a reminder of the hope and determination people brought with them when they arrived. As one Italian immigrant remembered, "We came with nothing, but we believed we could become something."
This video series emphasizes that we have different stories of how we arrived to be American, and that each one of us contributes to the greatness of our country. It also demonstrates how each one of us is a historical marker in the present. We are the future that those before us have created. We are the ones that the future will look to for answers of their origins in a nation built on a promise of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness based in equality. 250 to 250 video series span the gamut of American achievements and struggles that have made our country great. Our fourth video example is of the Hubble telescope, narrated by Mike Massimino, a former NASA astronaut.
In April 1990, NASA launched the Hubble Space Telescope into orbit, culminating a decades-long quest to capture images of distant galaxies outside the visual barrier of Earth's atmosphere. Named for the pioneering American astronomer Edwin Hubble, who helped define the nature of galaxies, the Hubble Space Telescope transformed our scientific understanding of Saturn's rings, Pluto's surface, black holes, and the very shape of the universe. Between 1993 and 2009, NASA astronauts undertook 5 risky space shuttle missions to Hubble to repair and upgrade the telescope. Physicist and astronaut John Grunsfeld, a veteran of 3 of these missions, declared, "Hubble isn't just a satellite. It's about humanity's quest for knowledge."
From getting to know the stars to getting to know your neighbors, the fifth video, Mr. Rogers, narrated by Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro.
For over 30 years,
Fred Rogers from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, traded his suit jacket for his famous red cardigan to welcome children from all across the world into Mr. Rogers' neighborhood. Each week, he spoke directly to children about the importance of kindness, honesty, empathy, and looking for the helpers during scary moments. And he changed our country for the better. Generations of American kids grew up, myself included, feeling like we had a friend and a neighbor in Pennsylvania's own Mr. Rogers.
I end the program by saying you've made this day a special day by just your being you. There's no person in the whole world like you, and I like you just the way you are.
As we celebrate America's 250th birthday and the remarkable leaders who shaped our country and our culture, here in Pennsylvania, we are proud to call Mr. Rogers one of our own.
In summary, 250 to 250 American History video series are short, engaging supplemental videos, trustworthy, researched, encourages creativity, critical thinking, a kickoff for the classroom activities and lessons. It's interactive and it's free. Hashtag WeAreAmerica250 is where students can upload videos of themselves or groups of people saying, I am America. Just record your video and add the hashtag WeAreAmerica250. This is first in a series of uploaded videos that Americans have shared so far.
We are America.
We're America.
We are America.
I am 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 America.
We are America.
We are America.
We are America.
We, those of us who care about democracy, are America.
I want to thank you for this opportunity to present this. I appreciate it very much. And the very last thing is just to show you that there's a playlist. And there's so far 73 or 74 videos that have been put on. And there should be 250 sometime by the end of the year. So thank you.
Thank you.
Well done.
Great presentation.
Very good. All right. Moving on to item 3.3, the Williams Act Uniform Complaint Quarterly Report.
Just for your information only, there's no reports.
No complaints.
Excellent. Moving on to action items. 4.1 consent agenda, approval of graduation diplomas. Is there a motion?
I'll move to approve.
Second.
We got a motion. We have a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Moving on to general business. 4.2.1, public hearing and adoption of resolution for sufficiency of textbooks and instructional materials. We're going to open it up to a public hearing.
Kind of just did.
And we'll close it. You guys have the resolution in your packet?
Yes.
Is there a motion to approve it?
Motion.
We have a motion. We have a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Resolution is approved.
I do have a comment on that. We had talked in the past about changing the verbiage on that to include, what, do you remember what we talked about? It wasn't just, because instructional materials are not just textbooks per se, but we were
Oh, it was for the computer, wasn't it, or something?
we were going to add we were going to add verbiage on that. I can't remember what we said.
So was it the requiring the books, the Chromebooks, to access the materials? Was that what it was?
I think we were going to add something on there about the computers.
Digital.
What they learned from it.
Was last year.
Hmm? Yeah, that was last year. All right. It's not a big deal. It's just something that I thought was kind of time of the Is that what we really do in the classroom? Times at a time.
I don't recall the language specifically, but I do recall us talking about that.
Yeah, we were going to, all right. All right, thank you.
Would instructional materials fall in that category as far as Chromebooks?
That would.
It's a material that they need.
We don't really need to change it. I was just wondering what we talked about before, if anybody remembered.
Okay, so as it stands, the resolution is approved.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to 5.1. Members of the board will report on various topics. We'll start to my left with Lori Cisneros.
Thank you, and thank you for that presentation tonight. And it's exciting to live in America. I love that we can share our experiences with history and how it affects us today. So, and the 4th of July was just a great time to celebrate that.
Amen.
I also, as part of being an American and exercising my rights, I filed for candidacy yesterday to run my second term in the seat. Thank you. So I'm excited about that, starting my campaign, and it's going to be a good one. And as far as things going on in Tehachapi, we had a great time at the 4th of July events up there, and there's another event coming up in August for the Mountain Festival, August 16th and 17th. So that's all I have for tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Mary Little?
Thank you, Mr. President. I did like the video. Thank you, and you did a great job, Ellen. I'm glad that you recognize the importance of our heritage and our history. And I loved Mr. Rogers in there. That was he was absolutely a wonderful guy. If you learn the history and what he went through, he had a hard time in life. Hold on a second. Let me get some water. And as far as your request, Ellen, we can't really implement curriculum and mandate it in the classrooms because we don't oversee curriculum, and we can't do that. We can suggest it, and the teachers are free to use it. And a lot of the teachers are going to be able to see what you presented tonight, and they're going to be able to implement it in their classrooms as they see fit. So I wanted to explain that to you. We cannot teach or mandate it for teachers all across Kern County as well. So we have very limited authority to do anything in the classroom. Other than that, I am done, Mr. President, and thank you. It was a great board meeting.
Thank you. Moving on.
I'm just going to echo Mary's comments. First of all, I'm very appreciative of what you've brought to the table, and it's always nice to review what is out there, so thank you very much for that. And I did make note of the several public comments that asked essentially for a proposal of this material or an approval, and that's just outside of what our scope and what we do. And I know that when PragerU came and presented, that was also the same focus. It was just an opportunity to see what is out there, and there's nothing that we can do to say that that has to be in the classrooms. But I do absolutely appreciate it, and especially the time and the detail to the video and the presentation. I also just want to say that I'm sorry that I missed the June board meeting. Although I missed it in person, I did not miss it virtually. So that is a nice thing, and to be able to sit and watch and listen. And so I did listen to public comment, and of course was able to keep up on what's happening with CAT. And I appreciate the board's time and focus on all of those things and during that meeting. So that's my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Lori Eskew?
I too, Ellen, want thank you. You know, I had a good 4th of July. I'm proud to be an American. Still celebrating our 250. I was a junior in high school in 1976, and I very much remember the bicentennial and how exciting it was. So I was really excited about the 250. I too got to watch the June meeting virtual, so I'm really glad that we do record those. So I am caught up with CAT and what's going on. So I really hope we make that deadline, guys. I really do like that school. Other than that, I missed the graduation too. I really don't like missing Rise's graduation. Those kids work really hard. I worked with those kids for 20 years, so I know what they have to go through to try to graduate. So I didn't want to miss that graduation. But other things came up, so I'm glad that they got to graduate. Other than that, that's all I have for the board meeting.
Thank you. James Robinson?
Again, Ms. Schaffhauser, that was a marvelous presentation. We really did enjoy it. It's a reminder, too, we're seeing people from all walks of life and the way that they made their livings and the way that they built their wealth here in America. I mean, they're blue collar, white collar, all sorts of things. And I think that that's important, particularly now, given the culture of what we're dealing with out in the world, what with all the technological changes that are coming along, and a lot of the normally casual or white collar jobs that people are accustomed to doing are going through the same thing that happened in the 1960s with IBM and UNIVAC came on board and pretty much put thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people out on the street. So the emphasis on you can make it in America in any number of ways, I think is a very important emphasis that we should go on ahead, and I'm hoping that teachers will be encouraged themselves to go ahead and take a look at this, especially if they're running like CNN in 10. Not that when I was a teacher that I always agreed with everything CNN had to say, but it was generally always informative. It generally talked about the zeitgeist, the current state of affairs, and that is something that if people ignore, they're missing an opportunity to have a platform to build upon. So I think that makes any of these programs about American history critical to the education of the students that are out there. And they should be encouraged no matter what to go ahead and seek this out themselves. And online seems to be the way that they're doing it. And the fact that all this has been put into a program, a one stop, and people can go ahead and take a look at that, it's a very, very good thing. It's not necessarily extremely unique, but it is very accessible. And it sounded good, and you've got a lot of good people that are backing this up. So having said that, my July 4th, this is one of the most memorable July 4ths that I've had. I was immersed in music the entire time. It was one of the people, I think you mentioned something about music. You're sitting there in the front row in the print blouse. Somebody was. Yeah, about the music, yeah. We came up when the music was good. I think, and I have been listening to it and playing it for years. And yes, that is a very, very important part of our culture, and that is something that should never be dismissed. And I'm happy to see that it's still out there, that it's still being played. It's still being appreciated by the younger generations. So kudos to you for bringing that up, especially me as a musician. I like the idea of that. The July 4th, the US 250 celebration, it was on the heels of the 250 celebration. They were both at Riverwalk, and the US 250 was just a marvelous event. It was fantastic. There were thousands of people out there. There were so many different speakers, so much good music, so many good things to do, and it was just encouraging to see everybody from all over Bakersfield, from all over Kern County coming in. So that is that's the community that I myself would like to go ahead and see enhanced, not only from this position here, but just as a citizen out there in the midst of it. So kudos. And anybody ever read the Man in the Arena, the opening remarks of The Man in the Arena by Teddy Roosevelt? You should check it out sometime, because I admire the folks that put themselves into the arena, who get out there, who are not scared, who are not passive. They're not living a passive life. They're getting out and saying, I got something to say. And that is what America is all about. So happy 250, America.
Thank you. I don't have much. I do want to address Kat's concerns. Everybody on this board wants to see you guys succeed, and I'm hopeful that you guys will make that deadline. And if something unforeseen happens, like the city letting you down for whatever reason, we'll have an opportunity to address it at a special meeting. So hang in there, Kat. Hoping you guys will make that deadline. Ms. Schaffhauser, I really enjoyed that presentation. I'm actually going to look up some of those videos on my own I'm kind of a history buff myself. And that's it. Dr. Menabrew?
Thank you. Just two items. One is just to let you know, we'll share this information with the staff at the community and Altet schools so that they can have access to it as well. Wanted to update the board in regards, we have, there are 7 new superintendents starting next year. We've had superintendents retire and or have changed positions or have left, moved out of the area. You heard about the Vineland School District last year. He started February, March time period. So though it was last school year, he's still technically new. Wasco Elementary has a brand new superintendent. DiGiorgio has a new superintendent. Elk Hills has a new superintendent. South Fork has a new superintendent. Lamont has a new superintendent, and the Standard School District all have new superintendents. Let's see here. Wasco was an internal person. DiGiorgio was internal. Elk Hills internal. South Fork was out of the area and is relocating to South Fork. Lamont was internal, and Standard was internal. So we will be working with all those districts and the superintendents to provide support as they need it as well next year. And other than that, stay cool for the rest of July and going into August, and see you at the next board meeting.
Trustee Cisneros wanted to ask a question.
Thank you. Will we be getting a new student trustee, and when will that happen?
Most likely not. And I will, I can update you now. So we're having a hard time getting students, and quite frankly, the students are not wanting to participate in the board meetings at this time. They feel, no, not necessarily scared off. They just don't feel like there's truly a voice for the student at this point in time. So we're reevaluating with Valley Oaks and with the RISE program to see. We were trying to get somebody from Valley Oaks, and it's just hard to get them. Also, the time of our board meeting goes quite long, and they have homework and stuff. That's primarily the main reason why they decline to come, because we start later and we go pretty late. Today we're earlier, but for the most part, it's late for them time to get home. Last year we had Valley Oaks from Tehachapi. We get concluded around 9:30, 10. They're trying to get home, getting homework done for the next day. So that's been the issue right now. So we're trying to revamp and kind of work with both staffs to see how we can do it. So will we have one in this fall? We're not sure. As of right now, we don't have anyone scheduled because it's just their scheduling. It's hard for them to come for that time
Dr.
period.
Menabro, how many do we have graduate this year during the graduation?
At the RISE program, it was close to 200 students. Yeah.
I suggest that we tempt in a student trustee with Pop-Tarts and a car allowance.
Yeah, so we're revamping it. It's different. I spoke with the high school, Kern High. Theirs is slightly different how they're structured. And so it's easier for those students to attend the board meetings. Our students have a little harder time to attend. And because of the time length of the board meetings, that's what we've been hearing a lot. Last term, that's what was her biggest issue. There were some other issues going on too, but the time to commit and to stay the length of time and to get home, to get ready for school the next day was just pretty tough for them.
Can I suggest something?
Sure.
You know, I don't know what happens before they're selected and then what they're told and how we operate and everything, but maybe if we can have a meeting with them in the office and explain to them, hey, this is what we like, and this is what you can do, and it doesn't have to be all of us, but
right.
just a couple of us, and say, hey, welcome, and to welcome them and say, we're not going to override you. We want you.
Yeah, and that was our plan. We're working with both staffs to kind of see what has been some of the struggles in the selection, and then I was going to come back to the board and kind of talk about to get your input as well.
Okay.
But since Trustee Cisneros brought it up, we just haven't gone through the full talking to both staffs to find. We just know what last session term was some concerns, and then we're hearing the same thing from the Valley Oaks. It was just the time of the board meeting, the length of the board meeting has been the biggest.
That makes sense. I wonder if we could maybe brainstorm some other ideas that, because I would like to know what students feel is important in their lives at the time that they're in the school, and maybe they can just come and speak at the beginning about.
Well, that was, yeah, as you say, one of the things we did in the school district where I was before, each board meeting we had the school ASB president come to just that particular board meeting, and then they reported out what was going on at their school site. And then the board was able to ask questions. They kind of interacted. They sat like they do here, but they didn't have any voting because they're, sixth graders and the law didn't allow for them to have student participation. But we were kind of bouncing those ideas off too, so that it wasn't somebody for the whole 6 months type of or 5 board meetings. We're trying to bounce different ideas like that, and then I was going to come to you to gain your input as well. So since you asked, you can start thinking. But I don't know if we'll have someone come fall just because, and maybe we can look at something, even if it's something like you said, if it's a student that comes once a month, different students, they get different perspectives, then we can probably start that, and it might be more doable for them because it's not that commitment every month for 2-3 hours plus travel time.
I like that. That's a good idea.
Yeah, my suggestion might be a group of students that are selected. They're working together at school to come up with their report, their presentation, right there, and then one person is coming to each meeting. They're reporting back.
There's a teacher in
Yeah,
you.
no, all those ideas are great, and I'll start sharing that with the staff as
Just an
we're
idea.
meeting. So, no, it's great ideas.
Real quick, back to 250 to 250. I was wondering if there's anything that, if it's possible for Ms. Schaffhauser to present to some of the other boards, the other school boards with this, or would that be necessary?
That's up to every school board. This presentation and the report will be just for the staff that's at our RISE program, because that's the only campus that would have students.
So she'd have to negotiate with
She would
each
have to,
district.
she would just have to talk to each of the school boards or school districts.
Okay, moving on to 7.1, any items to be considered for next agenda?
I would like to, I know that I'd mentioned this a couple of times, kind of following up with our RISE students. Have we thought any further? I know it's not an action agenda item, but have we thought of any type of, I go and I see those kids graduate and I wonder where they go and the positives that end up from the stories that they tell and showcasing a little of those. Have we been able to get anywhere on?
Yeah, we've been talking in regards to trying to we've had some students now employees of our office who work. I could think of one in mind that would be great to have come and speak. You hear him. He spoke at the Thanksgiving. And so we can have him. There's a couple of others that come back. But yeah, we're brainstorming those ideas of
Maybe
how we
for
can
the
capture.
fall
Yes,
meeting,
that's
just
what
an
we were
idea
planning on.
of-
Because you had mentioned that, and yes, yep.
Okay, thank you.
All right, if there's nothing else, unless otherwise posted, the next regularly scheduled meeting will be held on August 11th at 6:30 p.m. It is now 7:58, and we will adjourn this meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Stay cool, everyone.